Okay. Hello.
Hello.
I am Minnassa,
Maryellen.
and we are here with Spirit Rising. We are back, and it is cold.
It's cold. It's even cold in here.
So the temperature yesterday, when I got up, I get up around 6:30 for service. I asked my Google what time it was, what the temperature was. It said 0. I'm like, how can it be 0? Like, how is, like, I know 0 as a number, but I don't know. So anyway, it is cold. We've got snow on the ground here. I want to congratulate myself for actually coming out of the house in the snow. Except for the streets are basically clear. They're a little slippery here and there, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just cold.
And we have yes, it is cold.
Yeah.
So I think in a couple of days, maybe on Friday, it's going to be 57. Yeah. Everyone in your swimsuit. I'm just saying.
Just stick around. That's what happens.
Just get in your swimsuit. So we welcome you to Spirit Rising. We are from Unity of Bloomington. In Bloomington, Indiana, we are a center for spiritual growth, a welcoming, affirming, love-filled, healing space. All are welcome, and we mean that. We're not just saying that. All are welcome. We are affirming to the LGBTQIA, ABCDEFG community. And while all beliefs are welcome, we do have a set of beliefs of our own. That's where I bring my messages from, our 5 principles and our 12 powers. And basically is that we are God in living expression. And how can we best live that life? That's where my messages come from, the 12 powers. And if you don't know about that, you need to come on and visit the center, which is beautifully decorated for the holiday. And so very, very good. All right, Maryellen, what are we talking about today?
But what I wanted to say first is thank you for being here, and thanks for sticking with us. And we're just learning how to do this. And Minnassa asked if we could do a podcast, and I said yes, because I had the thought several months earlier that she should do a podcast. And she came to me, and I thought, well, I guess we should do this.
Hey, but okay, that's not how it went about, okay? So I found out, I was the guest on a podcast, and somehow I found out that our library here, because remember the first one's at the library.
Yes.
With the strange lady. Anyway, at the library. And so I said to Maryellen, hey, do you know that the library has a digital system and that we could do a podcast? She's like, yes, we're going to do it. That's how I remember it.
It was true. Yeah. And
That's
I was
right.
like, because I had already had that thought, and I thought, well, she's inviting me and I'm going to say yes.
There we go. So we did the first one at the library on Kirkwood or 6th or whatever. It's between those streets.
Yeah.
But Mary Ellen's like, this place is jank. And here we are at the beautiful home of the May family.
Yeah. And so I just want to take just a tick to say thank you to you all for sticking with us. And thank you to Minnassa. And also just to say, I don't know what I'm doing. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with us and watching. And I know it's going to continue to get better. And I mostly wanted
That is inaccurate. She does know what she's doing.
And so this is like a
just
wonderful
ignore me
way
like a Capricorn.
so I can listen to Minnassa some more.
All right. Let's talk about what we're doing at the center. Obviously, this is being filmed in December, and we're on the journey of Advent, which began the first Sunday after Thanksgiving. So we've been on the Advent journey, which is the journey of the birth of Christ. So people are celebrating the birth of Jesus, but from our belief, this was a young boy that eventually grew into a man and was able to embody his Christness, his oneness, his spiritual way of living, being, moving in this world. And we've seen that in other people, the Buddha or Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva. I would say even Mother Teresa in a way, Teresa of Avila, because Joe LaMantia said, stop just naming men as examples of Christ consciousness. So even most people don't know that, like Shiva Shakti. So when Shiva is in his most powerful and holy and sacred, he's Shiva Shakti. He is that balance of male and female. So if you Google Shiva Shakti, you'll see an image of like a man on one side and a woman, and that's that coming together. So we're looking at what are we giving birth to in this season? As we step into the dark, right? It's going to be dark at 4:00 eventually. What can we give birth to? How do we bring light into this time? And so we began with Mary getting this great news. Basically, are you going to have a kid and you're not married? So be prepared to be stoned by your neighbors and die. And she's like, if this is God's plan I see something bigger. I say yes to the bigger plan. And so she doesn't allow the circumstances around her to have her deny this power and possibility of birthing something new. Then we looked at the wise men. So awakening, the second week of Advent, we did illumination with the wise men. And again, that they were like the nerds of their time, the astrologer, the astronomers, the mathematicians. And yet somehow when they put it all together and they looked in the skies and, something's happening. Let's go there. But they had to leave what they knew. They didn't have a map. They didn't have GPS. They didn't have Thomas Guide. I'm obviously aging myself when I say Thomas Guide. And I think it's something we had in California. Where it's like this book, it's called the Thomas Guide, and you go to page 7, and this is downtown LA or Valencia. And then for a special insert, you put page 7, fold down page 51. Thing was horrible. Gail loved the thing. I thought this is like the devil, right? Which we at Unity don't believe in. But anyway. And so that part of the journey of birthing something new, of bringing light into the world is following your muse, following your bliss, following that light that may not be clear, but you're going to go towards it anyway. So it means leaving your comfort zone, and that spirituality isn't just something for, holy. But yeah, nerds, we got room for y'all too. People who are thinkers like me, in my head all the time, right? That there's a place in spirituality for those of us as well. And then yesterday we talked about embodying our joy. So we usually have our beautiful Advent wreaths, 2 purple candles, hope and peace. And then yesterday we would have lit the pink candle, but we did a little something different with our service. But that again, I think people forget that, especially people, oh my God, I got to deal with my shadow self. And, okay, calm down. Spirituality is all about joy. If there's not joy in your deal, you try it again. That's what I loved about our first Sunday. This last year, I came, we're going to do an ugly Christmas sweater. It was like me and 3 other people that did it, right? But this year, Maryellen had on like PJs. Okay, put a picture of that so people can see. I
always wanted to wear PJs to church.
I know. Just like yesterday, I was going to wear sweats. Like I'm at home. But I thought if I wear sweats, or if I said it as my intention, somehow, I don't know how people can move in the other realm, but like Gail would remove all my sweats and I would just wake up to no clothes. So I said out loud when I went to bed, I am wearing pants tomorrow. And so all my sweats were safe. So you're going to see a gallery of pictures just of people celebrating Christmas. Enjoy silly sweaters. I had a horrible sweater that traumatized people and I loved it. It's Pugs on Pizzas in space. With Christmas hats and Christmas presents, so that's what made it Christmassy. I know most people are just like, do we need to call Lily? Does she have her medication? What is going on here? But there was joy there. I think about Chase and Mary. Crystal and her whole family just showed out. And even quiet people like the lovely Susan Dabb. She had her little, I thought, there we go. So joy, and that joy is embodied. And so we talk about the story of Zechariah and Elizabeth, who Mary went to visit because they were trying to get her out of town while she was preggers. But Elizabeth, her promise of life, or giving birth, was delayed. According, you should have had a baby when you're young, whatever. But when Mary came, and that Christ presence in her and the Christ presence in Elizabeth, represented by John the Baptist, there was joy, there was leaping, there was a connection. And that's part of too, if you have to, I'm not making a comment, but I am. If you have to be in a religion where you have to like beat yourself with something, or you have to deny yourself, come on to Unity. We have joy and silliness.
Yes, we do.
And so here we are today. So I think one of the things you want to talk about is, what do I mean, the darkness?
Yeah, so this is all new to me. And even though I grew up somewhat Catholic, and then my parents found Unity and I went to Unity, but I was a kid and I don't remember. And so one of the reasons why I love listening to you is because you know the stories, but then you make it practical. And it makes me wonder about how this applies in my life right now. Okay. And sometimes it's a lot because they're so rich. All of your messages are so rich. And so I just want to stop and be like, okay, can I just
yes, thank you for this paid sponsorship by Maryellen.
This one message. So the first part, I'm still like in the Advent story, the darkness.
Yes.
The first part of stepping into the mystery. You don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea, but you see you know something's got to change because it's something is there's a tension building, something has happened, something's got to give, and you don't know what it is, but you see that next possible step, and it's almost like a leap of faith, or just wondering about it. So I'm just curious about that darkness and how you look at darkness, and not necessarily the shadow side and figuring things out, but like how do you see that?
Well, my perception, when we talk about taking a leap of faith, I love Indiana Jones, and again, I'm aging myself because I was in the theater with those movies. But there's that time where Indiana Jones has to go get the Holy Grail, and the Nazis have stabbed his dad. So you got like a certain amount of time before he bleeds out. So he's going through all the, again, this is like nerd heaven. Look at this man using all these clues from history. And then he gets to this bridge or this chasm, and he has to get to the other side, and there's no bridge. So he's take a step of faith. Okay, the wrong step will have him at the bottom of that chasm and his dad dead, and then their crazy friend also, right? Like this is like life or death. And he's like, okay. So he just put his foot up and boom, there it was. He couldn't see it. So then he stepped back, he threw like sand ahead of him, and then he couldn't throw it across the whole chasm, but just enough for that next step. And that really is the journey of spirituality. It's a step of faith. There's no guarantee, right? That's what Americans want, guarantee in our Christianity. It's like, no, there's no guarantees. It's the intention and the choice that we make. And so for me, simple, this is going to sound like, Maryellen, check her medication, please. Darkness is where there is no light, right? Where we have not allowed our light to go, where we won't bring our light, or we're afraid to shine our light, so it's dark over there. I shared with Maryellen the story of Lily's dad, who when he was a little boy and he went to bed, his mom or dad didn't close the closet, so there was just enough of this shadow in the dark to make it appear like someone was standing in the closet. Now, as a kid, if some like murderous person was standing in your closet, I don't think they're going to stay there all night, right? They've come to do something nefarious, right? But no. Well, in the light of day, it was a hat and a coat. Right? But in the dark, it was some scary entity. So again, if he had gotten up, well, of course, he was a little boy and he was scared and it turned the light on, he would have seen. And so the invitation in the dark spots or in the darkness is, where can you bring light? Or if you don't have the light, how can you invite the light in other people? We talked about that I'm on a grief journey, and so thank you for making me come here today. You cut me loose on the other day, but I'm at a place to where I want to like just sit in my house and isolate and be a hermit, and Lily won't let me, and Kathy Kinsman won't let me, and Maryellen won't. People won't let me. Yeah. Right? But it's when I say I'm going to say yes to the light anyway. When I want to sit in the dark. Or even this weekend, there was just a whole bunch of things happening in ways that I didn't like. And I could have went to that, let me turn the light off on how I act, and let me come from my fear base and my anger base. And then fear has a place and anger has a place, but that's not how I live, move, and have my being in the world. And so instead, I had to reach out to resources and say, listen, I need your help. I don't know what to do. And in the midst of all that dark, where I thought there's no way out of this mess, light came from people, from support, and boom, we were able to work it out. So the darkness is not something to be afraid of. Just shine some light. And we are the light, or the support and people in our lives will bring the light. They remind us about the light. And that's whole thing, don't be trying to shine, or who do you think you are? Right? Don't be trying to shine. That's something women are taught, right? Just absolutely. Stay in your place. Don't be making a scene. No. There is no place. Right? We are the light. And when we bring that forth or pull it from someone else, then the darkness dissipates. Darkness has its space at night, right? We're supposed to rest. So there is a time, if you feel like darkness is around you or there's no light, maybe that's the signal for you to chill out. Right? Because there's creatures that move around in the dark that we could learn from, like cat energy or, I don't know, bat, raccoon, right? But again, there's cycles and seasons. So the dark has its purpose. It's the passage, right? You have a baby coming through a dark canal. When you die,
Yep.
you're going towards the light, or allegedly, right? So I think for us, it has to be the both and, not the either or. This is a world of you're either this or that. No, sometimes I'm this and sometimes I'm that. Sometimes I have it all together and I'm this great minister, I'm a spiritual leader, and other days I'm having a meltdown in front of the church about the youth ed department. Okay? Because both and. I'm also in a growing process. I'm also in a developing.
Right.
And so sometimes I'm very serious and very knowledgeable, and sometimes I'm like, right? So that's where that darkness is. It's that edge. It's really your periphery. So turn your head that way. Stop letting it be over here. There's something spooky moving. Okay, turn over there. Oh, there's nothing. Same thing.
Thank you.
Right, that the darkness we talked about when there were changes in this country, that people were afraid. This is the darkness. Well, the womb is also a dark place, but much is growing there. Where seeds are planted is dark, but work is still being done. Even when film, they're not got bright, they're in the dark developing those things, right? Even in the dark, stuff is still developing. So the dark doesn't have to be the evil, bad thing that we have been taught that it is. But what can grow here? How can I rest, relax, let go in this dark space, and then step again towards the light?
Beautiful. Before the year ends, and so we make a lot of, this time of year intentions for how we want to live our lives, and it's a very, very common thing. Everyone is encouraged to do that. And so how do you see this? How do you think we should approach this kind of year-end resolutions or intentions for the following year?
I think we shouldn't do it. No, it's important to have intentions, but again, in my opinion, we have forgotten that things are a cycle. So on January 1, something magical, right? Well, it is the 1/1 portal. So, it's the time for new beginnings. But just like if I go out in Maryellen's yard and it wasn't covered with snow and I planted a seed and came back the next day, the thing hasn't sprouted, right? There's a cycle. So to me, you don't harvest the day you plant. So for me, for New Year's, start before. Plant the seed so then the harvest can come in the new year. So I'll give you a simple example. So I wanted, from traveling around and going to Vegas for Thanksgiving, I thought, girl, you're not moving quickly, your joint, So I finally sat down with my chatty, which is my chat GPT, and I'm like, listen, old girl here needs a workout plan. I like to use the bar. So give me a weight thing. So he had this thing where you're going to lay on the ground and do like dead bug. I'm like, I'm not doing that at the YMCA. Okay. I'm not going to Southwest YMCA and right. But I thought, okay, I get the point. So give me something. So then we have this snow and you get a thing from the Y, we're opening later and right. So how am I going to do this? So again, spirit is always bringing everything you need, but you may not know you need it at that time. So I was at Lily's house and she's like, look at my weights. So Lily got this weight bar that has weights that you can add on. Oh, yeah. They can turn into hand weights and they can turn into a kettlebell.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, okay. All right. So not even thinking. And then today I thought, oh my God, yes, I can't get over to the Southwest Y, but I'm doing my house, we're getting ready to, my desk and chair are there. I thought that same area with a little bit of moving things around could be a workout area. Lily, send me the link for, right? So again, I put my intention before the beginning of the year, but that I need, a woman in my age, 62 and older, we need weights. So do I want to go to the gym? I want to go to Y? Yes, because I also need to get more practice going up and down the stairs. But anyway, here the answer was there already. So have some at home. So on days like this, when you can't get out, I can still work out. But I set that intention and the answer came to me ahead of time. All right. So what are the things? Don't, sit down now. I want to be more financially prosperous. I want to have better relationships. I want to be more connected to myself. I want to work on my spirituality. Well, how do you do that? Right? What are the tools that you need? so that you can have those things, so you can begin the year with those things. Right? Be prepared. Get your resources. It's like, I'm going to go to New York City. Do you have a car? No. You're going to fly? No. You're going to walk? No. Okay, well, how are you going to do that, right? Don't just have the intention, but what are the resources that say, well, I'm spiritual and the Lord will provide. Well, it's probably already around you. Don't be putting it on the Lord. You are the Lord. So what is the resource that's around you, right?
Yeah.
So that sort of thing. I think when they talk about how do we take care of ourselves, that in a world where folks, I've been talking with a beautiful woman from our congregation that knows how to take care of everyone else. But she does not know how to take care of herself. Yes, the way we were taught. But but, meaning that that's women. But the truth is, something is going on with men also. I mean, the suicide rate among white men, and you say, why is it important because white men? Because white men have always been the lowest in that number. They've been the lowest in loneliness. They've been the most coupled. But that is shifting, that they are now the most lonely and they're the most uncoupled. And this high rate of suicide. So what is going on? So brown people been, in a horrible way, brown people don't have the luxury of suicide, okay? But still, those numbers are rising. So what is happening with men? What is why can't we talk to someone? Right? I'm just giggling. Your dad's like, well, Minnassa sure know how to call me. That's right. Right. But this is about having resources, about having relationships, about having a give and take, about not being in the world by yourself. I saw this whole thing. People are trying to say, ChatGPT or AI is awful. This man, young boy, I think, killed himself because he asked his ChatGPT something which is not a human. Let's begin with that. It's not a human, and it's a program. And it just echoed back to him what he wanted to hear, and then he ended up killing himself. So people want to say it's bad. And I'm like, his own parents didn't recognize something was going on with him? Like, let's start with that. And then he didn't have one friend? So this is a systematic problem, not a personal problem. And so what is going on with the system, and how do we break or reroute the system? So we have to value ourselves. Say, wait, you so full of yourself? Yes, that's exactly how you should be. Full of yourself, full of who you are, full of the understanding of your powerfulness, your awesomeness, your oneness, your divinity. Right? People who are full of themselves in that way are beneficial to the community. And that type of self-love is contagious. So again, what are some tools? So you'll see Maryllen's going to put up an image of a card deck that I don't have because I gave it away.
That's what you do.
I gave it away, and so I will get it, but I'm at the place where I'm not trying to order. I don't need anything before Christmas. So I'm just waiting. And then I have three other decks that say, oh my God, what, this lady uses decks? Okay, I didn't say my tarot oracle decks. That's a whole different story, right? These are self-care. These are emotional insight cards, coping skill cards, and then a calm, mindful life, which I love. It's breathe, play, love.
Wow.
Breathe, pray, love. So let me say, these are not to take the place of your mental health professional. And if you are feeling suicidal, call 911. They will help you. Call a church. Except for not all churches are staffed every day, but call 911. You are not alone. You are not alone. And so let's get some skills to help us through this time, because the holidays, it's my first holiday without my lady. And it can just be hard because family can just make you like
crazy.
I need to check my DNA. I'm not sure I'm really with these folks, right? And the holidays, someone had posted on Facebook. Now, everyone's going to be posting like, I won the marathon and I invested $25,000 and got back $1 million. People are going to be putting stuff. They said if all you did was made it through this year, you won. So again, if you were full of yourself, you'd be like, congratulations to you, and congratulations to you, and congratulations to you, and I did awesome, right? That again, but we want to compare and contrast. Okay, so here are some great little tools that can help you check in with yourself. Again, are you in the present moment? the work that I do around stress is because people are either in the past worrying about something that you can't change. I shoulda, coulda, woulda, or you can't change it. You cannot. But you can change the effect it's having on you and how you feel about it and learn from that. But what happened, happened. But being in the present moment, this is the one moment I have control over. If I need control. But let's say the one moment that I can do something in is right now. And so check in with yourself. When you get up in the morning, do you even check in with yourself, or you just boom, hit the ground running? So this beautiful set of cards, this is the first one, Calm, Mindful Life. Slow down, stress less. I mean, in the podcast.
Sounds good to me.
Slow down, stress less. I don't know if you can see it, but here you go. So what I love about this deck is that it comes with a tracker so you can hold yourself accountable. Wow. It has, so you can color. It has a mindfulness journal. And then I just picked a few cards. So I don't know, Maryellen, if you want to take pictures or something.
Yeah.
But the card, I love that it's breathe, pray, love. So like we have this deck. It says inhale, exhale. Whew. And then it says, our quiet companion from birth till death, in motion this movement, beloved breath. Again, how can you connect to that? This one I also love. I love all these. So I love this one. That's right. I love them all. So music, tune in to your beat. Music is a universal language that speaks to us all. So when is the last time you listened to some music that had you shaking your money maker? And then we have this one, anchored to the now. Mindfulness is simple. We just bring a friendly awareness to what is happening in the present moment. And then I love this little one with the sun. Life of play. How often do we as adults play? We don't. We're all so serious. Start with a smile. Now make a series of the silliest smiles you can. Relax. What sensations arise? When is the last time you had some fun? And then this is my favorite one because people say, I multitask. No, you don't. And say, yes, I do. Okay. Say, can you multitask? Okay, here is my test of multitask. Can you drive your car, wash the dishes, and read a book at the same time? No. Well, then you can't multitask. That's the whole point, that we can do one thing. Finish what you're doing. I know. Maryellen's like, thanks for permission. So this cute little card with the octopus.
So cute. And
it says, just one thing. How often are you fully in one place? Pushed along by our busy lives, we miss the moments distracted by our rushing minds. So I'll leave these, Maryellen, so you can take pictures.
Beautiful.
So, and then this deck is called 54 Coping Skills. CBT, grounding, and mindfulness. And again, these do not take the place of your therapist or mental health person or your pastor or someone like that. So this is called your coping skills card. So then these are, again, practical tools for you to use. So I just pulled some out. So I love this one. Take a grounding breath. All right. Inhale through your nose for 2 seconds. Hold the breath for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. I mean, I love when I go and do a presentation about mindfulness, they're all ready for me to say something like, pull out your tarot decks and praise the devil, right? Like they're expecting me to be in some kind of weird zone like that. And I take them on a breathing journey. I got them. The power of the breath. Let's reset your parasympathetic nervous system and let's reset your vagus nerve. When those things are balanced, you are feeling good. I'm giving the best presentation on the planet, right? Because I got you in this moment. So take a grounding breath. So this is a good one. Because it's cold, we're covered up, but tap your collarbone.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So tapping. Right? We're rhythmic and energetic beings. So by tapping.
Yeah.
So to talk to you about that. So Maryellen knows this one because I called her up to actually do it at the center one time. Shake your arms loose. Shake it out. That's right. Move your body, right? Because so that's it. The desk that I got for my office is a standing desk.
Oh, nice.
Because I sit all the time.
Yeah.
We got a standing desk. We got to shake, Yeah. I hope Lily doesn't get mad. I'm going to quote Taylor Swift. What is it? Shake. Is that her thing? Shake it
Shake
off.
it out.
No, see, we don't even know the words, but you know what I'm saying.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. There you go. Now, if you ask me about Beyonce, who ruled the world? Girls. Right. Okay, never mind. Hum a low sound. Right? Because again, we are energetic beings. And before we can speak, we can make sounds. Right?
And it's fun.
Right? When you see a cat, you don't go like, hello, cat. You go, meow, meow, meow. Right? The cat's probably like, they're not even speaking my language correctly, right? But again, we could speak sounds, the the sacred sound that began the universe. And then savor the ordinary. Right? These are very simple things so that we can begin. Oh, so I'll leave these so we can have them. And this is the emotional insight cards. So again, like the other ones, so let silence answer. So to say, instead of pulling a card right now or right away, sit in stillness. Most people don't even know how to be quiet. That's people, oh, Minnassa, I appreciate you coming and bringing this presentation, but, I cannot meditate because I cannot keep my thoughts. My mind is always racing. There's always thoughts in my mind. I say, well, good for you, because if there's no thoughts in your mind, if you live in California, you're probably at Forest Lawn. That's like a huge cemetery, okay? Right? Your mind is always thinking, but you don't have to pay attention to it. All right? So for the 2 or 3 minutes that you're going to meditate, thoughts are coming through your mind. Okay, thank you. Focus on what you're on. The power of our thoughts, which we've talked about off and on, is this thought helping you? Write or say the thought that's looping in your head. Ask, is this thought helpful right now? And what's a more supportive way to think about this? Right? You have the power. I think one of the things I love about unity, or New Thoughts, will include our Centers for Spiritual Living, sisters, brothers, kin, folk, is that you have the power. You are the power. The power is within. I know. Right? Because most spiritual traditions is magical man in the sky. Even like with Santa, right? It's like, what kind of stalker is this? I know when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. I know if you've been bad. It's like, get out my business, Santa, right? But again, somehow some entity outside of myself has the power over what I'm going to receive. And part of New Thought is that if you take a look at the teachings of Master Teacher Jesus, he was showing how to be empowered, the practical way to apply your spirituality. And that's why many unity churches are called Unity Church of Practical Christianity. This is how to live it. You've got the power. End of my TED Talk. How about this one? Question the inner critic.
Oh, yeah.
Validate, then redirect. So name what you're feeling, right? I shouldn't be angry. Why not? So I'm angry, but let me redirect my energy. That's what I did a lot of this weekend.
Yeah.
And boundaries are invitations. Reflect on a recent time you said yes, but meant no. What would a boundary have looked like in that moment? And practice saying it out loud. Now, I'm going to let you all know something about Maryellen. She is very good at telling me no.
I got that one down.
There you go. Maybe we need another skill. I use the tarot and oracle cards as tools as well. That is my divine higher self, right? That these cards are dealing about where I am right now, but what is my higher self? What is my bigger vision? How do I connect to my divine self? Activate my crown chakra, or use whatever spiritual term, right? So for me, the tarot and the oracle deck can do that. And so we can talk about that. But here are 3 simple tools, plus the 4th one that Maryellen will show, the sacred self-care oracle deck. RuPaul said it best. How are you going to love someone else when you don't love yourself? That is wisdom. How many years ago, my aunt used to cook for Thanksgiving, and my family ate Thanksgiving like at 1 o'clock because we wanted to have plenty of time for leftovers. So everyone had their rules, set the table. She had beautiful plates that we used. Everything is set. We're waiting for her. We've sat down at the table, but we're not going to eat without her. So we're like, Aunt Patty, Aunt Patty. So someone went up. She had fallen asleep in the kitchen because my aunt got up at 3 a.m.
Wow.
To begin. And she had poured herself out serving her family. But that's not how it should be all the time. Okay, I get it maybe on Thanksgiving. But even then, me, Judy, Nikki, my sister, we were all could have made something. Of course, it don't taste the same as when she makes it. I'm saying we could have helped more, but we all just sat on our butts waiting for her. Right? And she didn't have the voice to say, Y'all get off your butts and get in this kitchen with me, right? Again, her own self-care, and then to shine her light on us and say, you have this skill set. All of you can use a spoon. Come in here. So again, this is about reciprocity, about community. And this is about valuing yourself, having the voice to say, no, yes, I like this. I want this. I deserve this. So that for this year, I'm encouraging everyone, make yourself a priority. So that doesn't sound very religious. It's not. It's a spiritual principle. Put yourself first. I dare anyone, if you spent 10 days, the first 10 days of the year, loving yourself, that in the first day you said, what do I want to do today? Say, well, I have kids. Well, okay. Maybe your kids would love to have the fuller version of you, the happy, the connected version of you. This is what I want to do today. I'm going to listen to my favorite music. So drop the kids off and then blast it in your house. You do what you want to do for 10 days. It will transform your life. I'm bet. Just saying. Maryellen's looking at me.
Oh,
Please don't give your kids my phone number. What did you tell my mom to do?
It's reminding me of, some of the things we talked about yesterday with joy and embodiment, and that we have that in ourselves right now. Yeah, I was blown away by that. I was like, oh, yeah, like that's right here, right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have the power. This world is about disempowering people. The energy of this world is about disempowering people, right? So we talk about patriarchy. So women are disempowered. We talk about bigotry and prejudice. So black people, brown people, different language speaking people are disempowered. But the fact is, when your structure disempowers, it disempowers you too. So again, it comes back to why are men in such a horrible state? Because when you spend your time disempowering, you reap what you sow. Right. So when you take from people, stuff is taken from you.
Yeah, that hurts everyone.
And yes, and so again, are you aware? Can you say today, yes, I got to go to work and I'm going to be working for the man, right? But when I'm there, I choose joy. I choose to be myself. Mm-hmm. But most people don't know themselves. The best thing that ever happened to me also was very challenging was when I got laid off. Because I go, who am I? I know who I was because of my work. Well, I didn't have that. And it was like, who am I? So it was a beautiful time. Looking back, hindsight's 2020, right? Mm-hmm. But give yourself the gift of yourself this year. Work on yourself. One of the things I got to do is I haven't done a vision board in a while. I used to have a vision board every year. And part of what my coach, Stephanie, talked to me about is, okay, you have a clean slate, not the way you wanted it, right? I'm ready to have every plan in my life moving forward, including Gail. But she decided to return to eternity. That's good. So who am I now? And how do I move forward? I have the chance, right? I told Lily, I said, well, Stephanie said that you're an adult now and you don't need me. She's like, that's not true, right? But again, she needs me very little. I bought tickets and we go into the Pacers game, nice. Right? She needs me in that way. She needs someone to feed her cats when Maryellen can, or Maryellen does the day and I do the night, right? But again, she doesn't need a mother in that way. Mm-hmm. So who am I? And I haven't done my vision board because, I moved here and then stuff was with Gail and then so much we were just putting the church together and doing all that stuff. And so now I have this beautiful opportunity. Again, divine timing. I wouldn't have been the route I chose, but here I am. So I got to get to, I think CVS. I used to get my big poster boards out of CVS. The strange thing is, where do you get magazines? I tried to get them at Kroger.
CVS.
Yeah, because Kroger, there's some right there. I'm like, that... Where they used to have like a magazine thing. So I'm going to get my magazines and cut them up because that, again, your intention. Set the seeds. Sow the seeds. That's, right? That the power isn't in isn't in the vision board. Mm-hmm. It's in the vision that you produced on there. And so I'm going to do my vision board. That's why I had a weekend time where I went away and just really sat down and started asking those questions. You can't answer right away. Mm-hmm. But, took my tools, my tarot cards and oracle cards, all of them telling me you're at a new place. Thought you couldn't have been more accurate. Right? But every day is a new day. Yeah. Every time we interact with someone, it's a new way to love ourselves and love them. Can we live intentional versus by rote? That is the power of New Thought spirituality. You have the power to choose. You have the power to create your life. And we give you tools to do that, like the ones we went through today.
Yeah. Read my notes.
Okay, here we go.
Deep well of oneness. Joy is holy. Hope, peace, and joy.
Let me go back to that joy is holy. Because again, there's this sort of feeling that, suffering is sacred, or, like those nuns and priests that take a vow of poverty. It's like, so see, being poor is good. Okay, no, that is part of their spiritual path. And their needs are met because they have set an intention to trust the divine as part of living their life. A pastor of mine years ago, Pastor Jack Hayford, shout out to you in the other realm. In his spiritual work, he heard his higher self say to him, the church is not going to pay you this year. Now, if he had said, I'm not getting a check from the church that day, he would have received all the money he needed. I mean, same with my congregation. If I said I needed this, I couldn't, there'd be just people would be tackling me trying to give me stuff, which wouldn't be good. But he told the board of directors of the church, he said, don't tell anyone. And none of you are writing me checks. And at the end of the year, he made more money, right? So this was his path. So again, that yes, trusting and letting go and releasing has a place, but spirituality isn't about, I'm suffering now, right? I'm suffering now because when I die, I'm going to walk in the glory. I'm going to walk in those streets of gold. I'm going to have my crown of glory. I'm going to have my mansion. Okay, I hope that works out for you. Seriously. So as you went without, because you have some idea that after you die, the very God that wouldn't do nothing for you here, right? That's why you're suffering. He's going to do something different. Okay, watch out, Maryellen. You can have your best life right now. It's all within. The tools are around. And so again, joy, silliness. Come wear your ugly sweater at the church or PJs. Like the kids we decorated the center. Joy is a part of spirituality. Like who would want to be in a relationship and it's always, gloom and doom? No one wants to do that. Well, your spirituality is your relationship with yourself. There should be joy. And joy is holy. Not silly. It's holy.
It's, I also wrote down, spirit is trying to live in our body. It's like, when you talked about
embodied.
Yeah. And the Pentecostal church and people experience that. Can you say more about that? I was just excited about that.
If you got hit by a bolt of lightning, it would go through your body and your muscles would jerk, right? Like it hit your system. Can you let your joy be the same way? So in the Pentecostal church, you see people clapping or getting their Holy Ghost dance on or shouting. They're really that, right? Where us good Americans are in control of our feelings all the time. Even when I'm in church, I am under control at all. Okay, why can't you just get in church or at the spiritual center where we're at, right? And let spirit move through you, right? No, because I'm in control. Okay. So how does joy, do you know little sweet Nora?
Yes.
Oh my God. You should see. She is so excited to be the usher or the greeter with her mother. She is jumping and rolling and beautiful smile and just, kids are like that. You give kids candy. That's joy. Why can't we wake up in the morning and have that joy? Let our body express that, right? Because our body is expressing our illness. Right? I ache here okay, that's the lack of joy expressing itself in your body. So let the joy, right? I've got the joy down in my heart, right? It's in me. Is it? Can we be joyful in our spirituality? And how do you know people are happy? How do you know people are joyful? Right? They get their dance on. They're smiling. They're hugging, right? Sometimes people John Wesley, who was the founder of the Methodist Church, he says, preach the gospel. Use words if you have to. In other words, let your life be the gospel. So if you say that you are a person who follows Christ, then people should be able to see that in your actions, in your kindness. And so in your love, in your generosity, in your healthy boundaries. And so the same with us and our spirituality. Say, why do I want to come to your church? I already got my own gloom and doom. They come in this to unity and there's love. I mean, first of all, if you don't like to be hugged, do not come to our center. I'm just... Right? I get so many, like I said, you need 12 hugs a day. Well, I probably get like 80 hugs in one day. So I'm like, I can go like 5 days without hugs, right? I'm good. But again, let our bodies express that. You know, maybe we'll have to get a praise team, a praise dance team.
Oh.
You know, I used to do that.
I did not know that.
I used to do praise dance, yes. Again, so that there's a way to show through movement.
Wow.
Right? Who taught you how to dance? No one did. That was in you. The music got to playing as a little kid. You see them wiggling their butt. Okay, that's in you. That's joy. That's that connection to that oneness. Why can you not have that at your place of worship? No, because we're not like those Pentecostal heathens. We are well refined. Okay. Right? I mean, me and Dan are dancing in the church, right?
Yeah.
The board president and I take world dance. We take dance, ballroom
Salsa.
dance lessons. He's an advanced student, and so Phyllis played this Latin-like song, and I've been doing the salsa. Except for course, Dan is an advanced student, so I know just follow his lead. But yeah, here we are dancing in the front of the church.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
That's why
So
I like
yes,
being on the music team.
that's right. Our music team again, singing all those ways. It's life is too good to not express it.
Well, thank you for answering that extra question. I know it's freezing in here. You guys don't even know, but it's really cold in here right now. So thank you for enduring it.
It's
and for
all
being here
good.
and braving it.
It's all good.
Wonderful to be with you. Thank you.
And it's wonderful to be with you. And so I don't think we're going to film before the
Probably not, but
So
January we'll be here.
We'll be in January. So I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate. May it be happy and love-filled. And may your 2026 be filled with prosperity, holistically, body, mind, and spirit, and that you find love first with yourself. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Okay.